Shall I start now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We all know that several centuries ago, Jain shamans taught us scientific ways of looking at universe, cosmos, life, consciousness, and death. In my last talk, I covered Jain science of universe and cosmos. This evening, I am focusing on consciousness, life, birth, rebirth, and death.
Rebirth itself is consciousness.
There, no satisfactory answers still exist for routinely asked questions: who we are, what is life, what is consciousness, where we were before we born, and where we will be going after our death. Scientists and spiritual people have tried their own ways, but their paths are widely diverging. The only answer one can get, the only possible solution is the meeting of these these two paths, so that we can converge on a single point. Fortunately, integration of science and spiritualism, which is most required for this type for searching answers for this type of question, already exists in the form of Jain Samajnana of Jiva and Tattvas. Unfortunately, over a period of time, Jain Samajnana turned into philosophy and faith of a particular religion, and we distanced ourselves from other part of the world, the rest of the societies. If we, but fortunately, the same Samyak Jnana is now emerging, has emerged rather during the last couple of decades in the form of microbiology. Microbiology is, in fact, a combination of spiritualism and quantum physics, which is also Jainism. So I will elaborate how Jainism explains all the life, consideration, etc. But before that, let us first see what are the traditional scientific understanding and traditional Jain understanding. Scientifically, the scientists, the medical scientists, biologists, neurologists, psychologists, they say life, mind, consciousness, intelligence, all are functions of a body. The body has birth, the body has death, therefore we have only one life. So the life is also has birth and death along with the body. And surprisingly, or more interesting thing is, the scientists themselves contradict when they say the smallest and the simplest life is a cell, which is neither created, which carries life, but it is not created. It actually arises from pre-existing cell. Since cell has no birth, no death, it means life also has no birth and no death. Whereas the conventional thinking of is that life is a function of body. The cell proves that it is not function of body. In addition, another interesting thing is the cell has no brain, has no mind, it has no neuron system. Still, like a grown-up body, it has cognitive power and intelligence, which are not perceptible to us. And even these two things are present in tissues and organs, which are formation of the cells. So it is not brain alone that recognizes things and feels, but the cells working together all over body, they carry out these functions. It means the consciousness is not localized in a mind or in brain, but it is non-local, or it is spread over the body. This is the concept of Jainism also. So microbiology indirectly speaks of the consciousness spreading over the body, not concentrated or localized either in the mind or in the brain. Another interesting point is medical scientists, biologists, neurologists, they do not define life. They simply say a set of body activities constitute the life. And one or more failures of one or more failures of the organs result in the death. Microbiology rejects this definition of life. Life, which is defined as activity of body, is rejected by microbiology. The microbiologists, quantum physicists, and Jainism say life is information. Microbiologists say that life exists in the cell in the form of information or molecular information or a molecular structure called RNA and DNA. RNA and DNA is not life. It is a life code. And the spread of this code is life. RNA, DNA is matter. So matter has, according to microbiology and quantum physics and physics also, information exists in matter. Matter is all-pervading. Therefore, information, jnana or knowledge is also all-pervading. This is, and we know that this is the basic concept of Jainism. Now, information is present in matter in the form of molecular bonds, which are mathematically designated as ones and zeros. That is, this bond or that bond or that bond. And when the bond structure changes, the material structure also changes. So it means the matter doesn't have, the molecular bonds don't have consciousness. Therefore, RNA and DNA does not produce consciousness. They produce the life-supporting information. And they spread this information over the body. This informed body we call as a living body. If now we compare this with our Jain ideas, Jainism also says information is all-pervading, but not in the form of matter, but in the form of Jiva Dravya. This is the difference. Scientists also say information is all-pervading, knowledge is all-pervading, jnana is all-pervading in the form of matter. We say it is all-pervading in the form of Jiva Dravya. Jiva Dravya has quantum consciousness, which is described in Agmas as Chetanopyog. It is not present as Chetana or Jnana or Nada, but it is present as in a quantum state. This quantum state is called Chetanopyog. And this when this Jiva Dravya descends in the body in the form of Jiva, then consciousness appears, this Chetnopayog turns into consciousness of the material body. So the Jain concept of life and the expression of consciousness over the body is called life. So
ये मोदी
we
साहब,
see
आई एम
that.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू मोदी साहब,
हाँ जी,
आप कोई स्लाइड शेयर करना है क्या?
नहीं स्लाइड नहीं है मेरे पास, मैं
ओके
एक्सम्पोर्ट
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, थैंक यू सर।
हाँ, आई डोंट हैव स्लाइड्स. So, so life, according to Jainism, is expression of consciousness, and according to microbiology, it is expression of information, spreading of information. Another interesting thing that is to be noted is cells do not die, but they propagate by dividing themselves, which means life has no death. Life only spreads, but it is neither born, neither it has birth nor death, it only has spread. And the maximum spread is that of the universe, and that is why we say it is Lokvyapi, or life is present everywhere in the universe. The cell, the life and consciousness in cell are not perceptible, but when, or rather I should go for the matter. In matter also has information, but the information is also not perceptible there also in the matter. When matter organizes into the form of a body or a cell, then information becomes perceptible. The same situation is in case of cell. Cell also does not have perceptible consciousness. But when the cell organizes into tissues, organs, and body, then the consciousness becomes perceptible. Now, if we come to our human personality, then we know that human personality has three factors. First is cognition ability or intelligence quotient, IQ. The second part is emotional quotient, EQ. The third part is spiritual quotient, SQ. So our total personality consists of IQ plus EQ plus SQ. Body, mind, rather brain, mind, neurons, and sense organs, they together make what we call what the biologists call as human knowledge system. In fact, REAP creates only IQ and EQ in the body. So this system is a source of IQ and EQ in the body. But this system cannot create common sense or general awareness. We see redness in red, sweetness in sweet. Likewise, and brain and mind and brain system doesn't have this capability. This capability exists in consciousness. Scientists do not know the source of this consciousness. And the consciousness includes intuition, moral values, our capability to take decisions, seeing the things we can prediction, decisions, all these things brain and mind system cannot do. So if we want to have the total picture of the human knowledge system, then we have to take into account the consciousness. And the scientists are still searching where is consciousness. Microbiologists have, of course, converted this into the form of information, but and this information they are constrained in the form of ones and zeros, or in binary system, and that does not produce consciousness. For producing consciousness, we require a photon system, a quantum computer, not an electronic computer. And Jiva is not a molecular structure like RNA or DNA, but it is a quantum structure consisting of Tejas Sharira and Karman Sharira. Tejas and none of these two components have material features. Physical features. They do not exist physically, but they exist in the form as quantum state. So these together, so the Tejas Sharira, it is a luminous body, and Karman Sharira are only mechanical vibrations, which we call as thoughts, feelings, anger, and all types of our human feelings, we call as karma. These both the things are waves. The waves cannot interact, they don't interact each other, because interaction involves exchange of energy, and they do not interact, they simply mix. And this mix-up is scientifically called as beating of frequencies, or let's say modulation of the one of the waves, one of the two waves, either of this light wave or the sound wave. So Karman, so since this Jiva has the source of light, it connects with the brain or with mind through exchange of photons. The communication between mind and brain is through electrons. But the communication between Jiva and mind is through photons. And mind and Jiva makes a quantum system called, which we generally call as quantum computer. It's a it is quantum computing that takes place between Jiva and mind, and therefore all the emotions and other feelings, IQs and EQs, which are generated by mind and brain system, are supplemented by consciousness of Jiva. And so the human beings act in a total unison, as a unison of all the three. So according to medical science, brain, mind, and neuron system makes human system, that is, the IQ and EQ makes the human knowledge system. According to Jainism, IQ, EQ, and SQ together, all the three, they make the human knowledge system. And IQ and EQ we call as Bahiratma, that is our body, all physical forms, our environment, feelings, everything which is external to Jiva is Bahiratma. So the scientists, the neurologists, they only talk of scientists. And if you want to know about life and consciousness, the study of Bahiratma is of no use. The study of cell, that is microbiology, and the study of spiritual thinking, they should join, and then only a real answer can be found. Because in our system, the IQ, the mind-brain system is supplemented by Jiva. It is not that Jiva, so our body has two types of sources of information. One is the cell, our body and mind, and the second is the Jiva. And in generally it is felt that soul soul exists. That is what generally the question is raised, whether soul exists or not. And this question rises because we do not define soul correctly. In our Agmas, soul or Atma is defined as knowledge. And so if the Jnana and Jnana is Atma and Atma is Jnana. So if you consider Jnana, then it is obvious that without Jnana, nothing can exist. The universe owes its existence to the existence of knowledge of the existence of universe. So unless you have the knowledge of existence of anything, nothing can exist and nothing can be synthesized or computed. So knowledge must be there. The only thing, the knowledge may be visible or may be perceptible or may not be perceptible. And generally, in basic systems like atoms and in soul, the knowledge is not perceptible, but it becomes perceptible when when they appear in a material body or a physical body. It is like this thing. The whole entire space, as far as Jainism is concerned, the entire space contains information. Now, this information is not visible. According to science, our space contains works like a cyberspace, which is not visible to, which is not perceptible to us. For extracting this knowledge, we require a tool like TV. So if we have a TV, we can get all the information whatever is present in the cyberspace. Similarly, our body can extract the information present in the universe because our body contains Jiva. So Jiva and in the form of body actually can acquire a Kunarka. So in short, I can say that our concept, the Jaina information theory is similar to, roughly speaking, similar to a space-based satellite GPS system. The source of GPS actually is outside the space. Similarly, in our case also, it is the controlling the source of information outside, but we have a device in our body in the form of Jiva. So this Jiva can interlock with this space and get the information. This is it is very similar to like that of the system. One thing that generally puzzles in our mind is if atoms can form any type of body or any type of material, any type of matter it can create, then why can't cell also create different types of bodies? What prevents it? Because the cell has information, inbuilt information in the form of RNA and DNA. So all the cells have cells of all the types, that is of plants, animals, and they have the similar structure. There is no difference in structure. Similarly, atoms, all the atoms have same type of structure. There is no difference in structure. The only thing is the size of the structure may be varying. But otherwise, the base and the content may be varying. But otherwise, the structure-wise, the construction is, and they have the same structure. So if atoms can build a various type of bodies, cells can also build it. And this is what Jainism says, that that information present in our body can, since it doesn't experience death, it can form any other body according to the information available. Now, this information available changes according to your IQ and EQ. When we were living, the IQ and EQ influences our this information, this jiva, and therefore its structure goes on changing. So change the structure can definitely, when it gets liberated from the body, it will definitely form another body according to the information it has. So if we are a human being and the behavior and the jiva is not of the quality of human being, it will form the structure next, which is similar to which suits its own structure. This is how rebirth and different types of species are explained spiritually. Another point I would like to before I discuss the effect of karma, in fact, Jain karma theory is amalgamation of psychology, biology, medical science, and genetic science and epigenetics. But before we discuss this karma theory, it is very essential to know some basics of Jainism. Generally, we see that there is a confusion between soul and jiva. Normally, it is traditionally, people do not distinguish between jiva and soul. And because this distinction is not clear, one doesn't understand the karma theory correctly. In fact, soul and jiva, though both are non-physical, jiva has a structure, soul doesn't have a structure, soul is only a jiva dravya. Whereas jiva has a structure of tejas and karman sharira. A structure can convey message. It can build any message it requires, but a structureless thing cannot have, neither has jnana or anything else. It just cannot be, it is just it can be, maximum we can say that it's an observer. So the soul, since doesn't have, the soul is simply a is only a part of jiva dravya, and it cannot exist separately from dravya. It is like, rather I would say, because Agma says that jiva dravya exists as jivastikaya. So jivastikaya is the form or body of jiva dravya. And this body, so when the dravya is in this body, the dravya simply exists as waves. So Atma is in fact a ripple or an eddy in a jiva dravya. Similarly, Pudgal also has waves, and the Pudgal Pradesh, they represent the wave. So two waves can superimpose and form a new wave with new amplitude and with new frequency. So the amplitude we call as gunasthana and frequency as the karmas. So in fact, so the combination of these two is called Jiva Tattva, whereas soul, since it's a pure, non-structural, doesn't, in Agma say that it doesn't have Sharira, it is a Shariri, a Murta and a Rupa, a Rupi. That simply means it doesn't have a structure, it doesn't have any special qualities, distinguishable qualities. All the qualities are present in the as Upyog Guna. That is the Dhyan, Darshan, and Charitavata, it says, they are separate in Jiva. but they are integrated as upayoguna in soul. The difference can be, an example can be given, simple example. Soul is like prakash, light, whereas jiva is like a flame. It has brightness, but at the same time it has shape. Soul does not have shape. So unless you have a structure, you cannot have knowledge, you cannot have any other qualities. Only they will it, and nothing can be and nothing can be made perceptible of the. So it so when we now, instead of taking soul as the unit, if we take jiva as the unit and then compare, define our karmas and the effect of karmas on jiva, then we find that hardly there is any difference between the modern theory of genetic science and our karma theory. Another point that should be noted here before I tell you is that mind is localized. Jiva is non-local or spread over the body. So the connectivity between a point, a localized thing, and non-local thing cannot be by any direct transmission, but only by exchange of beats, and this exchange of beats is through photons, and therefore the Tejas Sharira. So in case of Jiva, I say Tejas Sharira in fact is soul modulated by karmas, or because of the karman association of karmas, the soul is modulated and gets acquires brightness. So Tejas Sharira, according to me, is a modulated soul. And karmas are actions, all our body, physical, mental, and vocal actions. And these, the actions are also waves. The Tejas Sharira, a luminous body, emits radiations, which we call as lesha. So the lesha represents the quality of the jiva, and Karman Sharira decides its ability to do the functions, to do any job. And when this Karman Sharira is separated by nirjara or by all other means, then the Tejas Sharira loses its brightness, because the brightness was the result of association of Karman Sharira. And this brightless soul now escaped as Siddha. Now, if we come to the point of death, what is death? Now, the medical scientists define death as failure of one or more organs. Failure of a system doesn't mean dying of that system. That means it can be repaired. And not only repaired, but replaced. On the other hand, if you see this, the definition of death in Jainism, which appears to be more logical and acceptable to microbiologists, is existence. There is, first thing is, life is existence of consciousness. Absence of consciousness is death. Now, one may say that a human being in coma, a patient in coma, or a patient under anesthesia, or a healthy man in deep sleep, they lose consciousness. Are they dead? They are not dead. They are not without consciousness, because if there is no consciousness in the body, then the cell itself will not function. Because as I said, consciousness exists in the very root, the very basic element, that is the cell, and the total sum of the consciousness of all the trillions of cells makes our consciousness what we call as human soul. So we have trillions and trillions of souls in our body, each soul representing a cell, and the resultant of all these things is our human soul. Now, when a person is in coma or say in deep sleep, you say in a deep sleep, a person forgets everything. He doesn't know him, he forgets even his own existence. But as soon as he wakes up, his consciousness is regained. This simply means, that it simply means deep sleep, coma, or anesthesia are temporary conditions in which consciousness remains latent. That the bodies do not exhibit consciousness, because as I said, the consciousness is not the body quality. It is not generated in the body, but it is the consciousness exists in Jiva. The only thing, body is a displaying tool. If the body is not functioning, the consciousness is not displayed. It's not perceptible. So the conditions of coma or this thing does not mean that the person is dead. Now, Jainism says this duration of latent condition of consciousness can be increased, and that increased duration is called death. So death is a prolonged condition of the jiva comes out of the body. Jiva exits the body, comes out of the body, and therefore the body becomes dead because it loses all its the source of consciousness, and it cannot be revived. But as long as jiva is in the body, even a person in coma, in deep sleep, or in anesthesia or anything, there are always possibilities of reviving the person again to a conscious state. Rebirth, I already described that since Jiva is permanent, that is eternal, it has no death. So it can, depending upon its structural changes taking place in Jiva, when it is in a particular body, according to that new structure, it can acquire a new body. And this new body may be either a say an animal, a bird, or a plant, or a human, or again a human being. So the possibility of rebirth always exists, and even microbiologists do not rule out this thing, but they do not know the details because they don't understand. Still, they have not been able to identify the consciousness in the cell. They say that cell has consciousness, but they do not know how. What is the source? They do not know. They only know the source of life, that is RNA and DNA, which is an information code, and that code, if it is spread all over the body becomes lively. This is all they know, but they do not know what is the source of consciousness. AI people are now trying to understand this consciousness, and it is now on. Though I won't say conscious, but still there's a lot of improvement in the AI, and they say that they can it might be possible to build conscious machine in future, though they do not exist now. But because the real difficulty is they do not know what causes consciousness. Scientists yet do not know what causes consciousness. Once the source of consciousness is known, then it is possible to make even conscious machine, or they can make us also as eternal as possible. Thank you very much. With this, I would like to end. I'm open to
Thank you
questions if
very
you have
much.
any.
Thank you very much. There are some questions. One,
Yes.
first